All right, this subject was torture for me to learn and understand. I hated doing this, but I overcame it, and I want to share what I learned with you in the area of selling. Now, through my whole life, I was scared of the telephone. I was scared of asking people for money. I hated the idea of selling. Oh, yucksy, ugh. I don't want to do that, that's disgusting. And I think you're watching this and maybe you're feeling the same way. And it is hard to ask other people for money. We feel like we're robbing people. We feel like we're doing them a disservice when we ask them for money. And combined for me, like speaking to people on the phone, I hated it. And I think what happened is, I remember one time, you'll probably laugh at this, I was at work and I needed to, it was a construction company, so I had to order some block paving. And you order it in square meterage. And I can't remember what the figure was, but maybe it was like 100 square meters. And I pick up the phone, I'm talking to the supplier, saying, yeah, so I need 100. And what I ended up saying, I go, I need 100 square meters, because I'm shaking and my voice is so nervous. I can't even get my words, and I end up saying scared meters, and the whole office start laughing at me. It was funny, but I did feel embarrassed because of that fear on the phone. And then coming into business, you have to speak to people. Business, even business to business, requires two people within those businesses to talk to each other. Business to customer or business to consumer requires two people to talk to each other, right? And so it's important to have that human interaction. And I struggled with that, especially if it was over the telephone. So then I'm in business, and the combination of speaking to people on the phone or on a video call and having to ask them for money, I hated it. And I'd get the sweaty hands, dry mouth, I feel all clammy and horrible, right? It terrified me. But I knew this was an area that I had to work on. And I put so much attention, because if you don't sell, you're not going to make any money. And if you don't make any money in business, well, you don't have a business. And if you don't have a business, then you're not going to have any fun. And you are going to end up staying in that job for the rest of your life. And I know you probably don't want to do that. That's what you want to come out of. So the first thing that you have to do, the first thing is you have to define what it means to sell. Through life, we've had so many bad experiences of selling. Like maybe somebody's scammed you, or you feel like you've been done over, like these door-to-door salespeople or telesalespeople. Or in our life, we've had bad experiences of money growing up around what we see, what we hear, what we experience. So all these bad experiences around selling, money, it starts to define our beliefs in the area of selling when we come into business. For example, let's think of an example. So somebody might have done door-to-door sales with you. They're trying to offer you, or you've seen your parents buy something from a salesperson only to end up finding out that they're actually getting screwed over, and it causes a lot of upset. So then you have some kind of belief there in your subconscious saying, oh, selling's bad, or salespeople are bad. So when it comes for you to start doing the selling, those triggers, they start coming up, those memories, those experiences start coming up again. That's all that's playing up for me. That's what for me, that was what was playing up, is those past subconscious triggers around money. And also, what I found is a lack of self-worth, a lack of self-esteem can really affect your ability to sell. Because if you don't believe in you, it's difficult to try and get somebody else to believe in you and what it is that you offer. The company that I worked for, they were a medium-sized construction company, turning over, I don't know, maybe £100 million a year. And the thing about that is you can hide in a company. A company like that, you can hide. Right? If you make a mistake, it ends up the responsibility falls on your manager or the director. There's a certain level of protection. That's what I've found working in that corporate environment. There's a certain level of protection there for you. But what happens is you go in your business, it's like, it's all the attention's on you. Like if you get it wrong and you don't serve a customer, that's on you. There's nobody there to come and save you or protect you. And people feel that. I don't want you to be put off by that, but that's what people feel. So you're serving a customer, you're giving them a product, you're giving them a service, and then ultimately what happens is you feel the pressure. And if you've got a lack of self-worth or you've got a lack of self-esteem, you feel like you're not gonna do them justice, you're not gonna serve them. And one of my beliefs when they were coming to selling, I thought I was robbing the person. I thought I was taking more from them than I was giving to them in value. Now that is going to affect your sales. So when it came to me and I'd do a call with somebody on Zoom, I'd do a video call with them, and then ultimately what would happen is I'd get to the end, I'd have a great call with them, I'd be asking them questions, I'd be listening, I'd find out what's going on for them, I'd find out what their problem is, and then that last 20 or 10, 20 minutes, I would collapse and my whole energy would change. I'd go bright red in the face. Why? Because at the core, I think I felt as though I was taking more from them than I was actually going to be giving them in value. So I felt like I was going to be doing them a disservice. Did I close those sales? No, not at all. Not at all. What really started to change for me, what really started to shift for me is when I just defined what it means to be a salesperson. And a salesperson is somebody who is effective in their communication. They do the greatest good for the greatest number of people. They wouldn't sell something to somebody that they don't need or want. Remember that. They wouldn't sell that. And also, they can be trusted. That's what a salesperson is. Not the preconceived idea that you've got of that person who shows up on your doorstep trying to scam you. That's not a salesperson. That's a scammer, right? That's completely different. A salesperson is somebody who goes out there, looks for people's problems, and if they have a solution, they offer that solution to them. If you see somebody in pain, you want to help them. And that's what I've learned, that's what my belief around selling is. So also on top of that, get clear on what is your definition of money. Money is just a tool. Money is just a way of exchanging value. You know, it used to be like you didn't have money, so you'd have camels, you'd have chickens, you'd have eggs, and you'd start trading these things. Now, it's not practical for me to carry 5 camels around with me ready to trade. It's not practical. I don't have pockets that deep, okay? So what did people do? They started creating money. So money was, it's obviously smaller, it's more manageable, it's units of measure, and that's what people started using to trade. So it's just an exchange of value, it's nothing more. But because of that, what we've seen, what we hear, and what we experienced in the past with money, you know, as soon as somebody starts handing notes over, we get all funny, we get all shaky, oh God, no, and we can't take it. So you have to get clear on your definitions of money. You have to get clear on your definitions of sales. And then it comes to this. Find out from the prospect, from the lead, that potential client that you're speaking to, by asking lots of questions, find out what is the real problem. Let's take somebody who wants to scale a business, right? They're working all in their business, they're consumed by it, it's overtaken them, right? But they want to grow. They're doing well, but they want to grow further. Now, you might think, well, their problem is they're struggling to grow, they're struggling to scale. But actually, you might find that as you start speaking to them, you start asking them questions, you find out that actually they've got 2 kids at home. They're young kids and they don't get to see their kids very much because they're so consumed by the business, they've got no time to spend quality time with their kids. That's the real problem, right? That's what the real problem that person is trying to solve. That's what they really want help with. So then it's like, okay, well, I have this solution. I can help you grow and scale. I can help you make more money in your business. But ultimately, what I'm going to be able to do is help you have quality time with your kids. Now you're back at their level. You're solving the real problem for them. So look, define what sales means to you, define what money means to you, and make sure that you're solving the real problem as well. Because then when you have those 3 things, then you'll find your sales start to increase. You'll feel better about selling to people because you realize you're not doing them a disservice, you're actually adding to their life. You're actually giving them a benefit and you're actually helping them. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that helps you with sales. Look, if it helps you and you go out and make sales, let me know. I'd love to know because I want to celebrate that with you. I want to celebrate. It's a huge achievement, especially when you get your first sale in business. That's like the ultimate milestone because then you've cracked it. You go, yes, I can do it. You've got proof of concept. So I want to hear about those moments for you. If you make your first sale, let me know. If you made your first sale, let me know. What was that like for you? And I want to celebrate that with you. So guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.